A midnight pilgrimage. The iron gates creaked. I stepped inside, the sound echoing in the stillness of the night. The air was thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves in the gentle breeze. The moon hung high, casting a ghostly glow over the landscape, illuminating the path ahead. The cemetery air was cold, still. A dense fog rolled in, wrapping around the gravestones like a shroud. The mist seemed to dance in the moonlight, creating an otherworldly atmosphere. Each breath I took was filled with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, a reminder of the countless souls resting beneath my feet. A shiver ran down my spine. I was not alone. Shadows flickered at the edge of my vision, and I could feel an unseen presence watching me. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end as I quickened my pace, my footsteps echoing louder in the oppressive silence. The feeling of being watched grew stronger with each step. The path stretched before me, cobblestones slick with dew. The moonlight reflected off the wet stones, creating a shimmering trail that seemed to lead deeper into the unknown. Each step was a careful balance, the slick surface threatening to send me tumbling into the darkness. The path twisted and turned, leading me further into the heart of the cemetery. Each step echoed in the silence. The sound was almost deafening in the stillness of the night, a constant reminder of my solitary journey. The echoes seemed to bounce off the gravestones, creating an eerie symphony that accompanied me as I walked. The further I went, the more the echoes seemed to blend with the whispers of the past. The scent of damp earth and old stone filled my nostrils. It was a smell that spoke of age and history, of lives lived and lost. The gravestones covered in moss and lichen stood as silent sentinels, guarding the memories of those who had come before. Each stone told a story, a brief glimpse into a life long past. I walked deeper into the heart of the cemetery. The path seemed endless, winding through the graves like a serpent. The deeper I went, the more the air seemed to thicken, the weight of the past pressing down on me. I could feel the presence of the departed all around me, their whispers growing louder, urging me to continue my midnight pilgrimage. The silent city. Shadows stretched long and thin. The moon painted the headstones silver. They were sentinels, guarding secrets best left undisturbed. I ran my fingers across a cold, engraved name. A life lived, a story ended. Each stone whispered of forgotten lives, of joys and sorrows long past. Around me the city slept, or so I thought. Whispers in the dark. A twig snapped. The sound echoed through the stillness of the night, sending a shiver down my spine. The forest was alive with the sounds of nocturnal creatures, but this snap was different. It was deliberate, almost as if someone or something was making its presence known. I stood frozen, my breath caught in my throat, straining to hear any other signs of movement. The darkness seemed to close in around me, the trees towering like silent sentinels, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. I spun around, heart pounding. My eyes darted from shadow to shadow, trying to pierce the inky blackness. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig, sent my imagination into overdrive. Was it just the wind, or was there something more sinister lurking in the shadows? The forest, once a place of tranquility, now felt like a labyrinth of fear and uncertainty. My pulse quickened, and I could feel the adrenaline coursing through my veins. I had to stay calm, had to keep my wits about me. But the feeling of being watched was overwhelming, an invisible gaze that seemed to follow my every move, only the wind rustling through the leaves. Or was it? The sound was almost too perfect, too rhythmic, as if it were masking something else. I strained my ears, trying to separate the natural from the unnatural. The wind's whispers seemed to carry voices, faint and indistinct, but there nonetheless. They spoke in a language I couldn't understand, a language of the night, of the unknown. The leaves danced in the breeze, casting eerie shadows that played tricks on my eyes. Each shadow seemed to move with a life of its own, creating a tapestry of fear and intrigue. But the unease remained, a prickling at the back of my neck. Goosebumps rose on my skin, a physical manifestation of the dread that had settled in my bones. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was not alone, that unseen eyes were watching me from the darkness. The forest, with its ancient trees and hidden secrets, seemed to be alive with a presence that defied explanation. My instincts screamed at me to run, to get out of there, but my curiosity held me in place. What was out there? What was watching me? The questions swirled in my mind, each one more unsettling than the last. There were whispers in the darkness, too faint to discern. They seemed to come from all around me, a chorus of voices that ebbed and flowed with the wind. Each whisper was like a ghostly finger, brushing against my consciousness, leaving a trail of unease in its wake. I tried to focus, to make out the words, but they eluded me, slipping through my grasp like smoke. The whispers were both a comfort and a terror, a reminder that I was not alone, but also a warning of the unknown dangers that lurked in the shadows. The forest was a place of mystery, and its secrets were not easily revealed. They seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The whispers were omnipresent, surrounding me in a cocoon of sound that was both disorienting and mesmerizing. It was as if the forest itself was speaking to me, sharing its ancient wisdom and its darkest fears. The voices were a symphony of the night, a haunting melody that played on my nerves and tugged at my soul. I felt a connection to the forest, a bond that was both exhilarating and terrifying. The whispers were a reminder that the world was full of mysteries, and that some things were meant to remain hidden. Was it the wind or the spirits of the departed murmuring their secrets? The line between reality and the supernatural blurred, and I found myself questioning everything I knew. The forest, with its whispers and shadows, was a place where the veil between worlds was thin, where the living and the dead could communicate. The whispers were a bridge, a connection to the past and the unknown. As I stood there, surrounded by the darkness and the whispers, I felt a sense of awe and fear. The forest was a place of power, a place where the secrets of the night were whispered, and the mysteries of the world were revealed. The Weeping Woman. They tell stories here, of the weeping woman searching for her lost child. Her sobs echo through the cemetery, a mournful lament. Some nights, they say, you can hear her cries. A chilling reminder of love lost, a grief that transcends death itself. Tonight the air is still, but I can feel her presence, heavy with sorrow. The veil between worlds feels thin here, as if the living and the dead stand side by side, their breaths mingling in the night air. A sudden chill, a fleeting shadow. I sense eyes upon me, watching from beyond my perception. The dead are here, I realize, not to harm, but to observe. Through the darkness, a flicker of light, a firefly dancing among the graves, a spark of life amidst the stillness of death. It brought a smile to my face, a reminder that even in the darkest of places, beauty can be found. Hope persists, even in the face of death. I continued my walk, the shadows lengthening around me. They seemed to dance in the moonlight, taking on strange and eerie shapes. I felt a strange sense of peace here, a calmness I had not expected. Perhaps it was the quiet solitude, or the knowledge that death is simply a part of life's grand cycle. The cemetery was a place where time seemed to stand still. The world outside faded away, leaving only the present moment. Here, among the silent stones, I felt strangely connected to something larger than myself. To the flow of time, the ebb and flow of life and death. As dawn approached, I turned to leave. The air was crisp, carrying with it the scent of dew-kissed grass and the faint aroma of blooming flowers. The cemetery, a place often associated with sorrow and finality, felt different in the early morning light. It was as if the rising sun had the power to transform the atmosphere, casting a gentle glow that softened the harsh edges of grief. The cemetery, bathed in the soft light of the rising sun, seemed less ominous now, more serene. The gravestones, which had appeared cold and unyielding in the darkness, now stood as silent sentinels, guardians of memories and stories long past. Each name etched in stone represented a life lived, a journey completed, and a legacy left behind. I glanced back one last time. The shadows that had danced menacingly in the moonlight were now mere whispers, retreating in the face of the dawn. The spirits, once so palpable in the stillness of the night, seemed to have retreated, their presence now a distant memory. It was a moment of quiet reflection, a pause to honor those who had come before, and to acknowledge the passage of time. The spirits had retreated, their whispers silenced by the approaching day. The cemetery, once a place of eerie stillness, was now alive with the sounds of nature awakening. Birds chirped softly, their songs a gentle reminder of life's continuity. The rustling leaves and the distant hum of the city coming to life added to the sense of renewal and hope. But I knew I would be back. This place, with its quiet corners and hidden stories, had become a sanctuary of sorts. It was a place where I could find solace and a sense of connection to something greater than myself. The cemetery with its timeless presence offered a unique perspective on life and death, reminding me of the delicate balance between the two. For in the heart of the cemetery I had found a strange and unexpected solace. It was a place where the past and present coexisted, where memories lingered in the air like a soft whisper. The gravestones, each with their own story, stood as a testament to the lives that had been lived and the love that had been shared. It was a place of reflection, of understanding and of peace. A reminder that death, though ever present, is not the end, just a new beginning. The cemetery, with its serene beauty and quiet strength, was a place of transformation. It was a reminder that life is a journey, and that each ending is simply a new beginning. As I walked away, I felt a sense of peace, knowing that I would return to this place of solace and reflection until we meet again.